Welcome back. Let's now write our very first line of code and build our very first and very small web page. So here we are back in VS Code and let's now close all of this and then we are going here to the first tab. So this is Explorer tab. So in VS Code we always need to be inside of some folder and that folder is called the project folder. Right now we don't have any folders started yet and so let's actually start and by doing that. I will create a folder right here on my desktop. But of course, you can also do it any other place on your computer. This one doesn't really matter. For me, it's just easier to have it on the desktop. And I'm calling this folder test. Okay, let's go back here to the Explorer and open the folder that you have created in the desktop, which is the 01 test. And select the folder, and you can get a welcome folder here. And you can also create a new file by clicking on the new file, or we could also do this by hovering here over this left sidebar, and by clicking the new file we can actually create n number of files under the folder that we just created. But I prefer by doing in this way. Since we are writing our HTML file, we just call it as a default name, which is called index.html. Point to any website, and so all web projects always need to have index.html. Alright, so keep that in mind. Always call your very first page index.html. Now, my goal is in this lecture not yet to really teach you HTML. Right now, all I want to do is to create this file and to add a little bit of code to it and then see the result in the browser. Just so you get to write your first line of code and are able to see the results of writing that code in a real web browser. So again, I'm not really starting to teach HTML just yet, and so instead of writing a whole page structure as we usually need to, we are going to use a small sheet that we can use in VS Code. So let's use a cheat trick here. Just write an exclamation mark and select any one of these. Here it displays a very basic HTML structure. Alright, here it contains a head and a body part. Now, it really doesn't matter to know all of these tags and what I am doing right here. Just I am interested to display a web page that really attracts you. So, in this title page, we can write the content which is like my first page. And when it comes to your body, we can write an open angular bracket and H1 and we can close it and the VS Code automatically closes the tag for us. Here we can write hello world. I just want to write another thing which is a paragraph by using same as I used before by using the letter P. And here the paragraph, the tag will be automatically closed by the VS Code. Here I want to write my name is Chandana. You can write your name to experiment and you can also save it by clicking Ctrl S, or you can just simply go to the file and here you can simply click save. Here you can observe the code is well formatted. It is the beauty of the Prettier extension that we just installed before. Remember that the Prettier extension is to format our code automatically whenever we save it. And so that is exactly just what happened. So let's just add some spaces here. And now if I hit Command or Ctrl S again, then you see it put it back in the correct place. Alright, and so that's the power of Prettier, and it will ensure that your code always looks the same as this code in the video. Great. So we just wrote our very first line of code, or actually our first two lines of code. And so now we have this index.html file and we can open it up in a browser. So let's go to our project folder where this file is located. And in my case, I remember that it is on my desktop. So I can just open it and now here we have that index.html. We can just need to double click the file, or we can just also right click to open with different browsers. And we can here select the Google Chrome, and here it is. Our very first web page we just created manually in VS Code. Great. And that's really amazing if you ask me. So, congratulations and well done on your very first web page. Let's just push it to the side here on the left side and then on the right side the browser so that we can see our changes. And to give us a bit more space here, we can just again click on this tab here, and that will then collapse this sidebar and give us more space for our actual code. So you see that here we have this hello world in big and bold text, and so that corresponds here to this H element, and then below that we have this paragraph which is translated here into this visual element. We also have that actual title of the page in the title bar. So my first web page is what we have here, and this is exactly that we typed here into the title element, right? And so one more time, the code that we wrote here in our HTML document is now reflected in the real world in the real web browser. And speaking of the web browser, I'm using Google Chrome to test all the code that we are gonna write throughout this course. And so I really advise you to also use Google Chrome to always test the code that you are writing. So that will again ensure that you have the exact same results as you are seeing in the course. Okay, and this is actually enough for this very first coding video, and I hope that you really get the ideas that I wanted to show you in this lecture. So basically, starting from creating a project folder, then opening up that project folder in VS Code. So in this folder here, the test folder, then inside of that creating an HTML file, then adding some code to that file, and finally opening up the HTML document in real browser, such as Google Chrome, where we then see this result. So basically, the translation of a code to a visual result. So I hope that you had some fun doing this, and I see you in the next video.